So Ronda Rousey has wrestling fans pressed again, and either you love to see it or you just hate hearing from this woman. You fall on either side of the fence. I guess I'm somewhere just standing on it in the middle, because like I like Ronda Rousey. I think she was a really good wrestler and a damn good fighter when she was in UFC. But she always comes across to me when she's making these wrestling tweets as a bitter woman because the fans rejected her. And it seems like anytime people don't like her, she just has this personal vengeance or grudge towards them. That's kind of been her track record. But yesterday she put out a tweet regarding Bray Wyatt, actually tagged Bray Wyatt too, regarding Bray Wyatt's recent release from WWE. And I'm going to read that out to you guys, and we're going to really go over this tweet. So Ronda Rousey said, "I've seen you same fans chanting hashtag we want Wyatt last night, chanting we want beach balls over at WWE Bray Wyatt performing. If the WWE treated him like he was expendable, it was because you ungrateful idiots did first." Quite the tweet. You know, when I first saw this, I didn't really know how to feel about it, because it's like, I think that most people will, and not most, I think all people will agree that fans are fickle. And it's not even wrestling fans are fickle. Literally all fans are fickle. I think that sentiment that it's just wrestling fans that don't know what they want is just so asinine, because I think just about any fan base out there has an audience that just pivots between liking and disliking something. That's just human nature. We like what we like, we like what we don't like. I feel like people should have gotten used to this by now. It's just about how fans react to things. But the fact that, oh, fans don't like what I'm doing, like, I don't understand how that's wrong. Like, you're allowed to have a difference of opinion. People don't like that for some reason these days, and that I can't get with. But the more I read this tweet, the more I started to realize just how wrong Ronda Rousey is. Let's start things off here with the opening part of this tweet. "I've seen you same fans chanting we want Wyatt last night, chanting we want beach balls where Bray Wyatt performing." So I'm not gonna lie, when I first read that, I could not remember exactly what instance there were beach balls thrown during Bray Wyatt's matches. So that should immediately tell you that that's not a fresh incident if I can't recall it, because my memory's pretty profound with wrestling. I remember a good portion of things. I don't remember everything, but I felt like I would have remembered that, because I remember a match on Raw or SummerSlam when Cesaro pulled apart beach balls. I remember that. I don't remember when beach balls were thrown through in every single match. This is not the first time this has happened where beach balls were thrown. And likely will not be the last. Actually, if I can recall, there was an episode of Raw where people were throwing beach balls and you had wrestlers in the ring playing with the beach balls, almost kind of condoning and celebrating the fact that the fans were having fun. So if that is the case, then you should blame the wrestlers for actually playing around with it. But then I had to go back and look up what incident happened where fans were chanting we want beach balls during a Bray Wyatt match. And then I found the match. It was Matt Hardy versus Bray Wyatt at Elimination Chamber 2018, a match which I honestly forgot happened. But yes, during that Matt Hardy Bray Wyatt match, the fans were chanting we want beach balls, doing the wave. They were just completely disinterested. So yes, Ronda was right. There was a point in time where fans were chanting we want beach balls during a Bray Wyatt match. But here's why she's so wrong about that. First things first, that is one single isolated incident when Bray Wyatt had "we want beach balls" chants. I don't remember this happening during any other Bray Wyatt match aside from that one incident. So that one incident was not the reason he got fired. Number two, I had to look up reviews for this match because I honestly could not for the life of me remember what I felt about it, because I probably didn't care much like the people in that arena. People just didn't like the match. The match was not good. The feud being built up was not very good. The people were excited for the Bray Wyatt Matt Hardy feud going into the match that they were going to have, but then the feud was butchered and not executed in the way the fans were expecting. So in turn, guess how they reacted? They were bored and they did not care. Fans are allowed to not like something. And here's the real thing about this. it's not even really Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt's fault. Yes, I believe it is their fault if the match is good or not. That's all up to their wrestling abilities. But the storyline and the feud and the booking and the promos, that's not their fault. That is WWE's fault. Their job is to show up and wrestle. Everything else that happens before and after is all up to the company they're employed to. So when fans tend to rebel or reject these things, they're rejecting WWE's product. They're rejecting the writers. They're rejecting Vince McMahon. They're not directly rejecting the people who portray these characters. That's not how fans think. I need wrestlers to stop thinking that when we boo somebody, we just detest the actual person. That's far from true. And yes, I understand Bray Wyatt got released, but ultimately, like I said, it is due in part his fault, because if the match were great, I bet you fans wouldn't have been throwing beach balls and saying shit like that. So yeah, part of it is his fault. Part of it is Matt Hardy's fault. But the bulk of it is the people who are in charge of that storyline in the match and how it's portrayed. But then I get into the last sentence, which, first of all, that's straight gaslighting, the fact that she was blaming us. But let me read it first before I even get into it. If the WWE treated him like he was expendable, it was because you ungrateful idiots did it first. Ah, yes, because WWE, they completely buried Bray Wyatt solely because the fans didn't like him. Solely because we didn't like him. I can recall many wrestlers that the fans rejected and didn't like and threw beach balls during the matches and said we want refunds and chanted bullshit and booed each and every single week, that WWE still pushed despite that. I can also recall many wrestlers that fans got behind, wanted to see get pushed, wanted to see get that main event slot, were great at promos, were great at everything, never got disrespected, that WWE did not push. But you want to know what these last two statements had in common? The way those wrestlers were treated had little to nothing to do with how fans reacted to them, but everything to do with how the company saw them personally and wanted them to be portrayed on their television show. The fans show up, cheer, and boo whatever they want. The company's job is to put on a show that the fans will like and go along with the plans that they have set in motion. The fans are supposed to boo the bad guys, the heels. If the heels are good and are supposed to be booed, the fans will boo them. The smarky smarks will cheer them, but for the most part, the fans will boo them. If they're really good guys and know how to be a good baby face, the fans will cheer them. If the inverse happens, then the people booking this is doing something wrong. It's this weird drone-like mentality these wrestlers have where we're just supposed to go with every single thing the company does, no matter what, without a hitch, and I just... so fucking dumb. But then the cherry on top of this whole Sunday is that even if the fans are the core reason why Bray Wyatt got, let's just say we booed and we hissed and we threw beach balls for every match, which is not true because he sold the most merch for multiple years. He was very over in 2014 and 2015 and 2016 and during his Fiend run. So I don't understand where this notion that we were treating him ungratefully is coming from. But let's just say we were treating him ungratefully. At the end of the day, the fans don't sign pink slips, and the fans have no responsibility in firing these talent. That is WWE's job. Your employer fired Bray Wyatt. The fans did not fire Bray Wyatt. And if you want the cherry on top of the sundae, they cut him for budget cuts. Now, are we led to believe it was actually budget cuts? Some of us don't believe that. Some of us do. But from what we're told, he was cut or fired due to budgetary reasons. So if that were the case, the fans have nothing to do with why he got released. Like Ronda Rousey just somehow manages to come across as such a bitter woman sometimes because fans rejected the fact that she can't gut good promos. Like, we liked her as an in-ring performer, but she just wasn't good on the microphone. And you know what? We rejected her, and that's how she showed up. That is kind of her fault for not being good on the mic. I mean, if she has a speech impediment, if she has issues that correlate with why she can't be good on a microphone, yes, that's not her fault directly, but it's the company's job to give her a manager to talk for her. And guess what? They didn't do that. They turned her heel. So, I'm not here to bash Ronda. I'm not here to yell and scream at Ronda. I'm just here to say ultimately the fans are there to show up and watch and enjoy the product. It is all up to the producer of the content to make content that fans will like. Post-production, I kind of want to come in here and rephrase what I was trying to say. As a content creator myself, I believe that people should make content that they themselves enjoy first, that they themselves creatively and spiritually and mentally are satisfied with first before it comes to if other people will enjoy it. Because if you yourself are not enjoying it, then it's not worth putting out. However, secondly comes the fans' opinions, and if they are the consumers and they're not going to like what you put out, it doesn't matter how much you like what you put out, you have to alter it in some way so that way people ultimately keep coming back. Or you could just shut out what they say, keep putting it out, and then the same results will come. It's really a bittersweet thing to go through as a content creator, but I think that's a discussion for another day. And if the fans don't like it, then it falls on the producer of the content to make better content. And they continue to make bad content, then the actions of the fans being in rebellion, not liking it, is going to further continue. And then when it further continues, don't ask why fans don't like it, and then don't say, oh, they're fickle. No, how about you make better content and this shit won't happen. That's all I'm about to say about the situation. I'm gonna head up out of here. Guys, I've been Tyler-kun Williams, also Suplex on TikTok, Suplex with 2 X's on twitch.tv. Go follow my socials, go check me out. I love you as always, and I will see you all later. Peace.